the garage. Back for another week. Common Patriot, my brother, Buzz Rankin here. Looking to do our thing in the garage as everybody wants to come and take them. So welcome to another week here in the garage. The Garage Kings are back, and we're glad to be back. It's been a layoff for a week while Patriot was gone.
Yep.
Doing a little business. I spent a little time out at the PGA show in Orlando, Florida. That was a good thing. I'm a hacker, not a golfer. Let that be known. But anyway, so hey, everybody, we want to remind you, hop on over to our website at www.garagepolitics.com. There's all the fun info you need to know about the Garage Kings. You can go to all of our social media links. At this point, go to whichever one you want. Go to Rumble, go to YouTube. Of course, less filtering options on Rumble, but you can check us out on Facebook, drop us a line, hit us up with a question, make comments, be snarky, whatever you want to do. It's all good. Yeah. It's the beauty of living in America. So check out our website there. It's always a beautiful thing. We like that. So
my nephew sent me a note the other day. He was excited because the last video that we posted right away, unlike some of the others that take time to build, right away that one had like 50-some views.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate. It's up to 63 now.
Sweet. We're setting records here in the garage.
Now, that's not our highest, because the one we did on the forms of government, where we spoke about Giovanni Gentile, that one...
Say that so eloquently.
Yeah, right. Now, that one's got 36 on YouTube, but on Rumble, that one has 67.
We're big time, folks. We're almost at 100 views.
Hey, man, we're closing in on 100 views.
Oh, man.
It's amazing how easy it is to make us excited, right?
You know, and back in the day, we say, you know, we're getting started. We expect this. It's not like we expect immediately, you know, to jump right up at the top. But, you know, if we keep putting little subliminal messages in there,
well,
he kind of blends in tonight.
And I'm trying to go on... like, I'll post after the show tonight, just like you do the little Twitter thing where you say, hey, we're in the studio, right? So I usually go on Twitter afterwards, and I post, okay, the show's up, after I get it all loaded and everything.
And I've seen that. I get that.
And I'm responding, not so much posting a lot of fresh stuff, but responding to a bunch of people, and I've gotten people who like the responses I give, the replies I put out there to various Twitter things.
Yes.
So I've gotten a few extra followers on my little Twitter account, stuff like that. So I think that's helping.
And we're gaining here where we live, too. So, you know, some people start to...
What's the gaining momentum? That song?
We're gaining momentum.
Gaining momentum?
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out sometime.
Okay.
But it's cool because it's, you know, once again, we're humble. We realize we're back where we were 14 years ago when we originally started.
Fun.
Yeah, it's fun, you know, most of the time. Right? Of course, I'm always a party pooper. I sit there and I'm like, oh, man, I got to do another. Yeah, and then I get down.
And then he has fun.
And then I get down here and do it, and I'm like, oh, I love doing this
He
stuff.
always has fun.
He
gripes afterwards, but he has fun while he's
doing it. I
don't
gripe afterwards.
Oh,
I gripe before. Right. I'm a pre-griper, not a post-griper.
Okay.
No, because every time after we're done with the show, I'm like, man, it was a really good show.
Post-griper.
We did good. It
should be a special category.
I'm not a post-griper. I'm a pre-griper.
Very good. Just way better than being a post-griper.
Exactly. But Patriot's got some good stuff this week as we get ready to head on over into our constitutional moment.
We're
so patriotic.
Oh.
It's a wonderful thing. The sun rises across the oceans. An eagle soars low, clipping its wings across the cresting waves. And just then, in America, the common patriot grabs a mic and brings us another constitutional moment.
I'm learning. I still didn't shut up.
He was ready. He's like,
shut up. In my head, I'm going, shut up. Stop. Right there.
One of these weeks, I'm just going to let there be silence, and he's going to be looking at me like, go ahead. And I'm going to be like, I'm sorry, I just don't feel it this week.
Actually, you got some praise for that. Everybody liked that input. The guys that I heard from liked the little intro.
Do they?
Good. Yeah, it was good.
Well, that one, you know, and we try to drop the voice and give it something.
So we're going to do the
awesome.
We're going to do the constitutional moment.
Oh, you got highlights. I don't have any highlights.
Well, I wanted to make sure that I could.
Oh, man. I feel so short.
Right.
Look, I don't have highlights.
So this is the furtherance of Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3. Everybody's like, is he ever going to get off this thing? No.
Can we get past Article 1?
The next show after this one, we will finish Clause 3. And we will move on to...
Aren't y'all excited? Everybody watch going,
well,
glory, hallelujah. We're going to be moving on to a new article.
Not Clause 3. We'll finish Section 2. Article 1, Section 2, after this, the next show will be done. Okay?
And then you can post gripe if you want.
Right. So, let's go to Clause 3. Let's continue on here. The number of representatives shall not exceed one for every 30,000, but each state shall have at least one representative. And until such enumeration, referring back to the census, the count that they were supposed to do, until such enumeration shall be made, the state of New Hampshire shall be entitled to choose 3, Massachusetts 8, Rhode Island and Providence Plantations 1, Connecticut 5, New York 6, New Jersey 4, Pennsylvania 8, Delaware 1, Maryland 6, Virginia 10, North Carolina 5, South Carolina 5, and Georgia 3. Bingo. It's like reading Deuteronomy a little bit. All right?
Just a bit. It's biblical.
So, points. Now, this is interesting, right? Because there's a couple of things I'm going to drag out of this, some more from the commentary that I thought were kind of interesting. It's really the background information this week that makes this one more worthwhile, okay? So George Mason and the Anti-Federalists strenuously objected at the convention to this setup, right, with this 30,000. Now, James Madison, in Federalist 55, he summarized their objections, right? There were a handful. He said, so first, that so small a number of representatives will be an unsafe depository of the public interests. Second, it will not possess a proper knowledge of the local circumstances of their numerous constituents. Third, it'll be taken from that class of citizens which will sympathize least with the feelings of the mass of the people and more likely to aim at a permanent elevation of the few on the depression of the many. And fourthly, that defective as the number will be in the first instance, it will be more disproportionate by the increase of the people. So their big arguments were, number one, it's a deficient number. It's not enough people, not enough representatives to represent the people at that number. You're going to have people disconnected. The idea was, remember, the representatives in the House were to be the people's house, be connected directly to the people. You get senators, you only get 2. Here, you're supposed to have representation commensurate with your population. And then they brought out the argument that, they're not going to be empathetic to the mass of the people. They're going to be focused on the small group of people who are sort of in control type of deal, right? And he said, what happens when the population grows? Well, now, Madison was enumerating their complaint. Madison said to them, right, quote, nothing can be more fallacious than to found our political calculations on arithmetical principles, right? In other words, we're not running the government based on a math calculation here, folks, okay?
1 + 1.
But here's the meat of it. Here's the fun part. He assured his readers that Congress would change the representation as the population grew. And they did. They've done this.
Awesome.
Okay?
There you go.
That there were, now this was one of my 2 key points this week, that there were sufficient checks against corruption in the Constitution. Now, we're looking at our government today and thinking, oh, you might have missed that one, James. I'm thinking you might have been wrong there. But my rant in the soapbox might discuss a few of those items.
Right.
And the second point, and I want you to listen very carefully. Now, these people who talk about all this stuff the government's responsible for doing and all these things, we're talking about a founding father here.
Right.
Reassuring everyone with regard to the point that they were most likely to aim, they would not have a proper knowledge of the local circumstances of their numerous constituents. That was the first argument, okay?
Okay.
Madison says, and that they only needed to be knowledgeable in the subjects on which they could legislate. Commerce, taxation, and the militia.
There you go.
Now, we're going to remember that. And I'm going to save that. I've got notes from every show that I've saved. When we get to the part where we hit Article 1, Section 8, we're going to come back to that little point there regarding legislation because we hear a lot of other things about it. But basically, that was what, here you're talking about, the number of representatives everybody gets in the initial Congress. Bingo. What's to read there? Well, that's why I said it's important. You go back and look at that other information behind there, and guess what? There's all sorts of interesting... They fought like cats and dogs over this representation number, by the way. They were fighting like crazy. This was a big deal because some of the guys felt like, no, that's just... Whoa, that's totally wrong. Anyway, that's your constitutional moment, and like I said, we'll wrap up the Section 2 in our next show.
Ooh. All right. Hey, that was a short one this week.
And... Well... look, like I said, you're talking about counting representatives. How much can you really beat that dead horse? But I think those points behind the scenes were actually useful.
And it was. And I think what's neat about it is it's all kind of tying in together. If you've been watching each show, it's kind of building upon it and try to just, instead of just throwing this massive dialogue out there, then going, here, follow this, and trying to piece it together week after week.
You nailed it. That's exactly because, look, remember the one I said, I've never read that before, never saw that, right? I've been reading the Constitution for 30 plus years, right? And still learning things about it, learning more about it. And it helps, look at other scholars. What have they said? What are they talking about? And then when you're watching that news show and the talking head comes on, well, the Constitution, blah, 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 and you go, no, dude, that's not right at all. Speaking of which, I'm sorry. I don't mean to digress. Did you see the highlights the other day from this judge that was being confirmed by the Senate?
No.
Judiciary?
No.
And it's one of Biden's nominees. And they asked her what she knew about, what she thought about Article 1 or something like this. And they were asking her very specific questions about the Constitution, right?
Right.
Well, what about Article 1? What about Section 3?
Or
what?
She didn't know any
and she
of that
goes,
stuff.
I can't really recall that right now. Seriously, you're a judicial nominee and you don't know anything about the Constitution?
I mean, I could see if you're asking Buzz that, and Buzz would be like, Patriot, help me out.
We'll have to bring that one up later on. But that was, oh my gosh, that was hilarious. Anyway, that's constitutional moment.
Sweet. Good deal. All right.
Simple, to the point.
Yeah. I don't have any segments this week.
Nothing from you this week?
No, nothing from me this
week. No
week.
Funniness? No hilarity?
No. Like I said, I was distracted. I went to the PGA show last week.
I got you, man.
And then you were gone all week, so I really didn't get into it.
So no diatribe from you, just all clubs and balls.
Yeah, clubs and balls, and I played some Call of Duty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I unlocked a new scope.
Alrighty then, there you go.
The digital version. Come and take that.
Nice.
With that though, because the last show you were just, and I felt bad. I'm sitting over here, and what you all don't see behind is because as I'm producing, I'm responsible for kind of letting him know. So at one point I'm over there and I'm like 10 minutes, and then we're down to 5, and I'm going like this. I'm giving him 5. By the end of it, I'm going like this. I'm going 1, and then I'm going wrap it up like that, and he just kept on going, and I'm like.
Oh, yeah, but it was...
Like this, I'm like, dude, cut it.
We went over by like 5 minutes from our average,
No,
right?
I get that, but...
No, I don't listen.
When you're trying to produce and you're trying to do it right, you're trying to give him hand signals and stuff, and it's like, he just keeps going. It's like...
And the key is right now, while we're just going and recording, it's not a big deal. But the important part is... This is something we had to learn when we did the radio show back in the day. You have to learn to pay attention to those cues. You have to be on time, because when you start running commercials, when you start having to have breaks for certain things, if you're in a format eventually,
thank you for pointing that out, because it is true. I mean, everybody just thinks, you're just pressing some buttons and stuff. No. Well, when we were actually live, we had a radio, someone at the head of the radio that we had to answer to.
That's right.
We were expected to hit our marks when there was a plug or a commercial due. You better put that plug or that commercial in. When it was time to do intros and lead-ins and stuff, and when your time was done, you didn't have the opportunity to go over 1 minute or 30 seconds extra. No. Your cutoff
hit your mark.
was 10:59 and 30 seconds so that they could do the plug, lead into the next show, and done. So
all time.
This is training. So I say that, and he's right. I mean, right now, it doesn't make difference if we go over.
But
than
I got to get used to it.
Getting that timing back down, getting that performance section down, and getting that to where everything just kind of flows.
That's right.
And with that said...
Training time. Okay.
Time for the soapbox, baby.
I have titled the soapbox this week.
Yeah, gave it a title, huh? It's not soapbox.
Well,
that's what it says at the top of this page.
This section. Well, it's the soapbox segment. This particular rant, and so before I say another word, let's put this out there. If you are sensitive, if your feelings are hurt easily, if you
stop listening,
go make a sandwich and
make it a long one for about another hour, and just actually, you know what?
Listen,
since it's recorded, just shut it off. if your little tiny feelings need a little box of tissue, you might want to move it along.
Because I'm probably going to say something that hurts your feelings.
Here we go, people. Roller coaster.
So I titled this soapbox this week, "The Tyrannical Overcoat." So everybody knows Joseph's coat of many colors, right?
Yes. At least it wasn't Tyrannical Rex.
Yeah, well.
Oh, sorry. Bad.
And as usually happens, right? This comes sort of from two places, right? As I was preparing for the show this week, for some reason the words popped into my head. We are beset on all sides.
Yep.
Now, I didn't go looking for that specific translation. It's actually from the Bible, from 2 Corinthians. I went and pulled it out of the King James Version, and I'm going to read it before I get to some other things. We're going to read 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 8 and 9. We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed. Now, the recommendation for that particular verse included verses 8 through 18, chapter 4, verses 8 through 18. So if you want to do that at times, go ahead and pull that up and read all the whole section, because it's actually very edifying to read it. So I'm gonna give you some expressions here, because some of you are going to think that these should be spoken or written in a different way. The left are. The elitists are, the statists are, the communists are, the socialists are, the anarchists are. Evil is. Now, I know that seems silly. It's based sort of more on grammar than anything else. The idea, though, is the left is not a body. It is not a single thing.
No.
It is a they.
They, right.
It is myriad groups that have made a devil's bargain and decided that despite their differing views on any number of things, they will all come together for a singular purpose. What is that purpose, you ask? That purpose is to destroy
good.
Not only conservatives, what you probably want to just call Republicans, but I don't. To destroy the republic, to destroy good.
I was going to say they just want to destroy anything that has a moral boundary.
Anything that doesn't meet with their ever-evolving, fluid view of the universe, they want destroyed.
And they want to blur it, too. It's not like... I shouldn't say they aren't blatant, because they are. They're blatant in it.
Oh, they are now.
But, man, they just keep trying to blur the lines to where it makes it seem like it's so good. And you know what? It's funny, because in the Bible it says Satan's going to do that to you. He's going to make it seem so good. Disguise it.
Yeah.
Make it look happy and good and fun.
But this is the thing. I said it was two places that this came from, right? And one obviously was just this. I just see it as kind of providential that those words popped into my head. And the other is last week we talked about the World Economic Forum and what was going on. And there's just been more of it this week. That judge candidate, seeing that, the attack on the man in, is it Memphis, right?
Yes.
Tyre?
Yes.
The continuing escalation. Minnesota just passed a law. It's going to the governor's desk that permits abortion up to the moment of birth.
Oh, man. That's just murder.
Now,
come on, people.
Now, get this. I just want you to think about this for a second. I get it that everybody has a different view about abortion. I
shouldn't.
No,
you shouldn't.
No, but I get that we have this disparity because people choose to see things a different way.
Sorry.
It was made mention of in the article that I was reading about the Minnesota law for abortion that many states had decided, because, you know, and they've got so many different reasons why they want to believe, support, do whatever. But several states had decided that because the baby, whatever they call it, the fetus, the whatever, I don't. It's irrelevant to me to listen to what they say. But
5 other officers
they had
were fired and charged in
they had decided.
Protests sparked out.
I am trying to get that stopped.
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
It's okay, man. We are. So
it's what happens when you're looking up the news and they decide, oh, you're going to play a video while I look it up.
So several states had decided that because the baby could feel pain at a certain point, whatever they said, 20 weeks or something like that, as many as 30 weeks.
Right.
Part of the provisions in their laws, what little compromise you may see it as, is that you must anesthetize the baby before you kill it, so it doesn't feel the pain. That's how they flush out their conscience. Well, we gave it painkillers so it wouldn't hurt when we destroyed it, tore it apart limb from limb. Anyway, that was sort of the other thing, was just this constant flow of evil and hatred and despicable behavior that we see on the news and in everything. And I have to admit, I'm reaching a level of saturation. I don't think I have any spare capacity now to allow things to pass. So that's the source of what you're getting this week, right? We are faced with reality in our lifetime, and the truth is no longer possible for our enemies to conceal, right?
Yep.
I would encourage you, despite your personal propensity for ridiculing the tinfoil hat wearing among us, to begin opening your eyes and staring into the abyss with confidence, certainty, and discernment. The time for speculation and possibility is past, and the time to choose sides in what you believe with your mind, perceive with your spirit, and accept with your soul is now upon us.
Amen to that.
Now that I have your attention, let's be frank and honest with one another for a few minutes, right? So this is that time right now. You get offended, you probably want to just go ahead and shut it down. Our republic, ladies and gentlemen, the great experiment in freedom, as our founders spoke of it, is in decline. That's not surprising to many of you. Some of you may see that as just another pronouncement by some right-wing nutbag. Not since or because of Joe Biden, let's get that out there right away, and the current administration only. This current administration is more akin to vultures and other scavengers picking at the labored and dying form that has not yet become a carcass, but is sure to transition soon if not aided with earnest and sincere effort.
And this has been coming for a long time, so I agree with that.
Now when I say we over the next however many minutes, I want you to capitalize the whole thing. We.
The people.
We are going about our days, executing our jobs, raising our children, loving our families, and enjoying what is left of the fruits of our labors as inflation, taxes, and the melees of the world chips away at our once great society. We're just, so many of us, and I'm not condemning you. I'm not saying that to condemn you. We're living our lives. This has been a discussion for years. The left is out in the streets protesting, screaming, yelling, burning cop cars, jumping up and down on things, defecating on people's property. And we keep going about raising our kids and doing what we're doing. Unfortunately, we've just continued to let it grow and escalate and can just keep coming, right? There's never a consequence for the left. There's never a consequence for this aberrant behavior. There is never a consequence for the evil that they drag forcefully through the streets of our republic over and over again. Never. The Department of Justice doesn't do anything about it. The government doesn't do anything about it because the politicians in control are okay with it. We do nothing. And then we're surprised when they kill people, when they injure people, when they go on these rampages. We are staring in disbelief as our government and its functionaries destroy our businesses, our economy, our lives, our reputation in the world, and our freedom in the pursuit of their dreams of domination and control over each and every one of us. Now, I challenge you right now. You go ahead. You look at the behavior of these politicians, and I don't exclude any of them at this point. You look at their behavior, right? The ones that are supposed to be the good guys, are they solving any problems? No. I would expect a patriot, I would expect a politician who actually believed in America, who believed in what we stand for, who believed in the good this nation was intended to be and to do, to absolutely fight like hell to stop the evil that is perpetuated daily in our institutions and by the people who ostensibly are supposed to be our leaders. But they don't. They do nothing better for the republic and for the people of this nation than do those who actively seek its destruction. No, I'm not getting on a specific policy per se tonight. I'm not getting into a specific political discussion, but we're just talking about what's going on. What are we facing? Because, like I said at the outset, sooner or later, folks, we have to make a decision. It's not easy, and it's not pretty, and it's not. I'm not going to be used by others as somebody who's out here calling for bad things and violence and horrible. It's not what we're talking about. Okay? But we're talking about the fact that we're just letting it happen. Yep. We are faced not only with the corruption of our own institutions, as the Omars, Cortezes, Schiffs, Pelosi's, Cheneys, and Schumers of the world destroy our nation piece by piece, but with the onslaught of the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, the International Monetary Fund, the Federal Reserve, the Chinese, the North Koreans, the Russians, the Saudis, and the elites and globalists of dozens of nations around the world that are striving daily for our destruction. Folks, we fought world wars for less than this. We fought a revolution for less than what they are doing to this nation today. They are stripping us of everything that makes us Americans. Here's another item that popped up this week that launched me into part of this rant. The demise of the U.S. petrodollar, the thing that we placed our hope and our stock in when we eschewed the use of the gold standard, has been accelerated recently when the Saudis have begun informing other nations, oh, you don't just have to buy oil with U.S. dollars. You can buy it with rubles or whatever else you got. Now, the truth is that part of what has kept the dollar stable for decades now, despite our flagrant mishandling and mismanagement of government, despite our overspending, our failure to enact budgets that balance and properly manage our finances in this nation, was the growth and the demand for petroleum products that backed the U.S. dollar. Because every nation on the planet, if they wanted to go to OPEC and buy oil, had to buy it with U.S. dollars. So when you came there with your rubles or your rupees or your whatever, okay,
yen, whatever.
Your yen, your yuan, your whatever. You had to buy U.S. dollars, transact into U.S. dollars, and then buy your oil, basically.
Yeah.
Okay? In Saudi Arabia, well, they're our friends, right? They're our buddies. No. And there are people that have said for years that Saudi Arabia is not our friend. There was an uneasy cooperation at various times. I guarantee you it was always because of things that benefited the Saudis. Let's not forget that a number of the 9/11 hijackers were Saudi citizens. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of what part of the royal family anybody was connected to or anything else. I'm just, in general, they're not our friends. Not our friends. We are not the world's police. We are not the world's solution. Now, I've said on this show, and I still maintain, we do have a role to play. We have a responsibility in the world to do what's right. I still maintain that. I don't change that one bit. But we have created more problems for ourselves over the years by getting entangled in everybody else's fights and arguments and disagreements. And most of that stuff needs to stop. Although it may be too late altogether for that.
Could be.
Now, I've already mentioned on previous shows some of these other items. The World Economic Forum wants you to eat bugs.
Not happening.
And weeds, right? They want to get rid of cattle for us. Now, I'll guarantee you they're still going to be eating steaks, filet mignon, and what have you. All right? They're going to eat whatever they want. Don't let them fool you into thinking they're all a bunch of vegans. That's not true. They're still going to fly their private jets, drive their expensive cars, driven by other people.
Eat their prime rib.
Right? And it's not going to change. What they want for us, though, is a collapse of the economy, a collapse of the global system that gives us jobs and gives us freedom, provides us with a methodology for remaining free and independent from the government. They want us to fall into a modern-day feudalism that the elites will control. They'll be sitting on top of the pile. That's always their vision. In every age, throughout the history of mankind, the elites, whether they're the aristocracy or the heads of the corporate boards or what have you, they're the elites. They're better than you, smarter than you, or so they tell us, and they're entitled to tell us how to live. Once again, read the Vision of the Anointed. That tells you exactly what you need to know. Remember, that's that discussion we had about the two views of the world, okay? These people absolutely believe that they are entitled to control us. And if we do nothing, and the World Economic Forum gets its wish, and the elites of the world get their wish, and we lose our freedom, and we own nothing, we will lose freedom forever. It'll be gone. The idealism of the past, where people could rise up and overthrow the despots, and you're talking about entering a phase of the world now where they are on the verge of what they want, from artificial intelligence to computer systems to monitoring systems, tracking processes, any number of other things. That fight will be way uphill. If you allow them to take control, it's not happening, folks. Not in our lifetime, I guarantee you that. Not until they're long dead. I mean, we've got China buying up our farmland. We noted that last week or 2 shows ago or whatever. I mean, that one just stuck with me. I can't for the life of me understand. And well, that's not true. I absolutely understand it. It's because there are greedy people and politicians that are benefiting from this. They do it every day. They do it day in and day out. They do it repeatedly. And they, what was it? Pelosi. Right before the whole thing with the lawsuit against Google was announced, dumped like $4 million worth of Google stock.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And everybody goes, oh, no insider trading here. This is fine. There's nothing wrong. Nothing you see here, citizen. Move along. They think we're morons. They all do. The World Economic Forum thinks we're worse than morons. They think we're idiots. We are fools to be controlled and manipulated and told. Do you realize, and I'm sorry, if you think that I'm a tinfoil hat wearing kook, fine, whatever. Okay? But you need to realize, this whole thing about electric cars, I told you guys before, and I'm just going to repeat it again. They don't want you in an electric car. Where are you going to get the money for an electric car? Most of us. Some people can afford it. Most of the population, then I get an electric car. And we said, because they will not entertain the idea of nuclear power, and they're trying to destroy the petroleum industry, where are you getting all of the electricity for the electric cars? It's not coming. This isn't about getting you into safe, clean energy, getting you into better cars and all this nonsense. It's feudalism. They want you living on that little plot of land that they put you on. Stay right there. You're not going anywhere. I told you about their things with the flights. One, the initial foray there, one short haul flight every 2 to 3 years for individual citizens. Where are you going to go? You're not going to have any money. You're going to be living at the government's pleasure. When they say you work, you work. When they say you stop, you stop. They tell you how many kids to have or not have, that's what you'll do. And when they tell you that you're done and you're no longer productive and it's time for you to die, you'll die. That's the government's view. Everybody calls it a dystopian future. We've books and everything else over the years. Folks, they're sitting on it. They're pushing for it right now. They go sit in Davos. They fly their plane. Do you know what the shortest flight was to Davos by one of these idiots?
What's that?
13 miles. They got in a freaking private jet and flew 13 miles to Davos.
Really?
Couldn't drive a car.
Of course.
But they're going to lecture
sad.
us.
That's sad.
But they're going to, and I'm supposed to look at that and go, oh, that's so funny. No, it's not. It's evil. It's just part of what they're doing. It's evil what these people are propagating on us. Now, I hear and have heard people for years now. We blame our children, the millennials, Gen Z, Gen Y, whatever, right? It's always somebody. It's these stupid people. No, I got news for you. All right, here's where I'm going to hurt some feelings, and I'm going to have some people go, oh, you're crazy. That's ridiculous. Remember what I told you about that word? We. We, the people. See, we forgot, and I've said this I don't know how many times, but I'm going to keep saying it until everybody gets it through their thick frigging skulls. We have always been, and we're always meant to be, the power in this republic. We are in charge. They are beholden to us. And we, through whatever variety of reasons we've allowed to do it, have abdicated our responsibility to understand the government, to understand civics, to understand truth, what's really valuable, to understand that we are America. We allowed ourselves to be bullied into believing that it was not okay for us to feel that we were exceptional. We were bullied into believing and being told that we were not supposed to look at ourselves as a nation as better than any other nation. We were told to give up our morals, to give up our ethics, to give up our integrity. We were told to look aside. Don't look at it. Just let it happen. Never mind. Don't be a bigot. Don't be a hard person. Don't be mean. We allowed our moral underpinnings to erode, rot, and utterly disappear in order to feel good about not, quote unquote, persecuting others for their personal beliefs. You can have any belief you want, but you don't get to come here and tell us what we have to believe. You want to live here? Believe whatever you want. But these are our principles, our morals, our culture. See, we let go of that. We let people tell us and bully us because they kept calling us bigots and xenophobes and everything else. Oh, no, you can't do that. You can't talk to people that way. Watch me. We allowed others in our educational institutions to fail at teaching history, critical thinking, mathematics, literature, etc. We allowed the Renaissance model of education to be replaced by the destructive model of me, I, and my truth. Now, that took a long time. It was a lot of different things that transpired along that road, but that brought us where we are today. No discipline for the kids in school. I witnessed that firsthand the 2 years I worked as a school teacher. No discipline. No expectations of excellence. No demands of performance. No, we just let them do whatever the hell they want. You hit a teacher? Oh, it's the teacher's fault because they touched you. They put a hand on your shoulder. You cuss out a teacher? Well, you got to be understanding. You know, they come from a rough home and dad's not there and all this.
Excuses.
Excuses for everything. We've made excuses for everything, and we've let them.
And they continue to make excuses, and that's everything in society.
Yep, they do it constantly. We let the schools teach that America was bad, and communism, socialism, those were good, right? Those were okay. So we let our education institutions teach our children that this stuff was okay. And then we wonder why our kids all favor socialism.
Once again, going back to the beginning where we said, you're stripping, everything good. Anything that has a moral compass, a moral boundary, stripping it down.
And by the way, don't think that this is just a commentary about single-parent families and poor families. We're talking about the rich families, too, who spent more time at dinner parties and drinks with their buddies and golf outings and trips than they did sitting down with their children and explaining the realities of life. Explaining you live in the greatest nation on the face of the planet.
It's too many people taking advantage of the situation.
If that statement I just made hurts your feelings, tough crap. Sorry, I don't care. Now, this moment, right now, are we the greatest nation on the face of the earth? No. There again, there's going to be people. Did that hurt your feelings? Tough crap. I don't care.
Wake up.
We're not right now. We're not. Because those of us who have spent our lives believing that we were the greatest nation on the face of the earth let a bunch of bureaucrats and lying through their teeth politicians strip us of everything that mattered. Generation after generation, we let them do it.
Yep.
We let them steal our pride. We let them steal our ability. We let them convince us that we couldn't do anything we put our minds to. That's what we believed for generations, and it worked. It made us the greatest nation, the greatest force for freedom and good on the face of this planet. And we allowed them to just pull it away. Here, let me take that. You don't need it. No. You'll be fine. Sit down. Shut up. We'll get you a minimum income.
Look at the doggy treat in the right hand. Don't pay attention to left hand. Here, take the treat here. Here's some ice cream.
We allowed our so-called educators to smear the founders, to smear our ancestors.
Well, not just smear it, remove it and erase it, man.
No. Not just, believe me. In the schools, they're still teaching, but they're teaching, Washington was bad. They were all slaveholders. They were all terrible people. All this stuff you've been told about them is not true. Now, they're not teaching about them. They've removed them, as Buzz says, from the curriculum. They removed them. But all they're spewing is hatred for them, disgust. They're terrible, horrible people, all of them. They were all a bunch of perverts and you name it. I've seen stories about all kinds of stuff. Nothing good. Nothing good. Now, it spreads around, right? You got certain school districts, right, that are not so bad. Yeah. Maybe you've got good teachers, but not everywhere.
Finding less of that.
Right? There's far less. And that's primary and secondary education. Forget it when you get to college. If you go to university,
it's all indoctrination. Here, let's teach testing.
And going to hurt some feelings, we permitted the introduction of alternative lifestyles to our education institutions. We permitted it. Okay? I distinctly recall when you had home ec at school, and it wasn't about perpetuating roles, as the left wanted to tell everybody. The idea was you were getting some life skills.
Yeah.
Right?
Pretty simple one.
Didn't hurt, by the way, for the guys to learn how to,
cook,
sew and clean and take care of some stuff.
You
right?
betcha, man.
Didn't hurt at all.
We got double reinforced. It wasn't just home ec that we were in. We had a mother that looked at our dad, goes, "My turn," and we learned that stuff: how to make a bed, how to iron, how to sew. Because what was it Mom used to tell us? You're not going to sit back on your butts while your wife does everything and waits on you.
You're going to help.
No, she set us straight, man.
But we let that go away and get replaced with, I'm sorry. I'm never going to forget the first time I saw a news story about how they were teaching kids in school to put condoms on cucumbers. I'm like, seriously? Well, this is not your role. This is not your job. This is why it's government education. It's not public education. It's government-run education. We approved those discussions of sexual lifestyles instead of allowing our educators in science to teach just biology. I got no problem you learning biology and understanding what the various sexual organs and things are and understanding what everything does. And absolutely nothing wrong with that. When you get to the right point, you got to learn that stuff. That's fine, right? It's not a problem there. But we allowed them to politicize it. It was taught with an ideology. They weren't teaching biology. They were teaching sexuality. That's not the school's role. It's not the school's job. And we let it happen. We failed to hold our representatives and senators accountable for their lack of character, integrity, and honesty. Now, look, to me, that's one of the biggest things out there. We took the people who were supposed to be watching the store for us, the people we asked to represent us in Washington and in our state capitals and in our town halls and town councils, and we allowed those people to go and observably prove that they had no integrity, right? No honesty, no ethics. These people didn't care. They still don't care. And they don't care more every day because they know that they're still going to get reelected. And I know, I hear it all, right? I hear it from people on both sides, right? Well, it's all rigged for the incumbents. It's rigged for this. There's no way to stop it. It's all the money. It's the lobbyists. There's a reason for all of it. No, it's not. It's us. It's us. We vote the bastards in. We vote them in every time. So I don't care what district you're in the country. You're the one doing it. You and your buddy, you go get people together, vote them out. No, that's too much effort, too much time. We don't want to do that. We just want to go cast our vote and go, well, okay, there's a pretty good chance. No, missed it again. And then we go on with our lives. And when the person is a provable crook, okay, perfect example, all right? Was this George Santos guy?
Yeah.
They got elected. Now, first of all, let's be clear. He's, as much as I hate to say it, he hasn't done anything that most of these politicians don't do on a daily basis.
Lie.
He lied his way into office. You think that the majority of those senators and representatives that you elect over and over again aren't lying to your face? And then they're going in the back room and making deals that are absolutely detrimental to the entire republic, including you? But you think somehow that George Santos is a big difference? No. You know what the difference is? He got nailed. He got caught doing it. By the way, Joe Biden got nailed, lying through his entire career. Told everybody he graduated at the top of his class. He didn't. Graduated with 3 degrees. He barely graduated
Gets
with
caught
one.
lying time and time again, yet they still voted
Guy
him.
has lied his entire life. Elizabeth Warren, by the way, lied. Told everybody she was a Native American. Absolute provable lie.
Gets busted and, let's still let her.
1,024th Native American.
And it's funny because Home Slice up there in New York got caught. Now they're demanding you resign. Demand you resign. Well, demand all of them resign because they're all liars.
I'm fine with them forcing George Santos resign.
Oh,
but you're exactly correct. As soon as you start clearing Congress of all the other liars, I'm good with it. As soon as you impeach the bastard that's running our country,
what's good for the
guy
goose
that
is good for the gander.
Lied his whole life.
Let it be like a flame. Okay, you lit a little spark. Oh, there's one liar gone. Now get rid of the rest of them. Now it's time to drain the swamp.
We failed to take up our positions as guardians of liberty. Yeah, that's right. That's our job. We, the people. The founding generation gave us that job. We are the guardians of liberty. That hit home a little bit to you, besides just saying we, the people, and you're a citizen? That's our job. And that means understanding all of those principles: truth, freedom, civics, how the government works, what's true, what's right, and being willing to be a Mr. Smith, to stand on the floor of the House or on the Senate for what's right, or on the floor of the House, either one. Being able to stand up on the street, in your job, in your school, for what is right. That's being a guardian of liberty. And when we all do that collectively, things change. We, the people, failed. I'm saying that again because I want it to stick with you. We have failed. If we lose the republic tomorrow, it's on us. We are the ones that permitted the experiment in freedom to come to an end. There's nobody else to point to. There's nobody else to blame. The quote from Reagan, right? Freedom isn't passed on in the bloodstream. It comes to every generation, and it is their responsibility to fight for it and deliver it to the next generation. And along the way, somewhere, we just quit fighting. Whether we thought it wasn't worth it, it wasn't pertinent, it wasn't for us. It was too mean to fight for freedom. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of young men and of late young women throughout the course of history have died for that freedom, have given their lives for that freedom that we took for granted, that we allowed our children to take for granted, that we even allowed our neighbors to take for granted. And you say, well, that's kind of curious. Why would you? Well, when you've got somebody that wants to run the country down and badmouth it, why don't you tell them and just be honest? What's your problem with the country? You're free to talk. Nobody's stoning you in the street. They will. In the new feudalism, under the World Economic Forum and the United Nations and the Joe Bidens and Nancy Pelosi's of the world. Now, they won't literally stone you. They'll just shoot you. It's cheaper. They'll disappear you. So when you say something they don't like, you'll just be gone. It'll be like China.
Weld your doors shut.
Yeah. We were entrusted with the power to control the republic. We had the power to vote corruption out of our institutions at the local, state, and federal level, and we didn't do it. We were too busy. We complained it was fixed. We complained they took it from us. Damn it, take it back. I know it's a little bit of a cliche maybe, or maybe it's a platitude or whatever you want to call it. I'm starting to get a little pissed, though. I'm getting a little frustrated with this whole process. Now, it means getting together with your neighbors, getting together with the people that you spend time with. Maybe next time you sit down to have a martini or a drink, maybe you guys have a discussion about what's wrong with the country. You know? We were responsible to question our leaders, to demand their compliance, but we were too busy enjoying our lives. So when the consolidations and the corporatizations and the globalization of our businesses began, we could have stopped it with our dollars, but we didn't do it there either. And you know what? I'm copping to this one. I'm responsible, just like the rest of us, right? I've said it, I don't know how many times over the years. Buzz, you've said it. Well, everybody's buying from them. We're not going to stop them. We're sure as hell not going to stop them if we don't do anything.
Yeah.
Now, for you to just go, well, I'm not going to do it anymore. No, that's not going to fix it.
Share why.
Share it. Get your friends. Get everybody together. Get everybody else to do it. Hey, the left does it all the time. Dear God, you can't even be a cake baker in Colorado and tell a transgender person you don't want to do their gender reveal party. Okay? Without getting sued out of existence. The left doesn't tolerate you. You go against them, boy, they get you. Okay. All right. You see how the game's played. Stop them. Stop. A little extra time. Go to the PTA. Get involved in the school. Get involved in government. Get involved in your local race. Whatever. Do something. When the immigration system was permitted to remain broken, now let's be clear about this. The immigration system has been broken for a long time. It makes legal immigration way too hard. I mean, it's ridiculous. If you're a legal immigrant, a valuable member of the society who can come in and contribute, right? They milk you for years. Fee after fee, activity after activity, permit after permit, you name it, over and over again, right? And we all sort of ignore that. It's like we all go, well, what, you hate immigrants? No, all these people over here trying to get into the country, and you guys are jacking them around for years. But if you come traipsing across the border from Mexico, well, come on in. Free health care, free education. We're going to put you up at a $400 a night hotel. We'll take care of you. It's okay. By the way, we're going to put you on a plane and fly you off somewhere in the country where they can't find you, so we can't track you down and deport your ass. And we all sit here and go, and we don't do anything about it. We don't do anything about it. We allowed our neighborhoods to be invaded by immorality while we bowed to the lie that it wasn't our right to force our morality on others. I got news for you. For the entire length of history, while we have formed societies of any kind, every society forces morality on the population. They're called laws, people. So from this day forward, I'm sick of hearing any of your arguments about how you don't like my morality. Tough crap. I don't care. And here's news for you, right? If in my lifetime we survive through this ridiculous load of horse crap we're dealing with, if we make it through the near-death experience for the Republic, the way the pendulum swing has worked throughout history, guess what? The morality's getting reimposed on you, whether you like it or not.
I mean, honestly, throughout history, every civilization, empire, culture that became immoral and self-serving fell. Boom. Gone.
Did you ever read about the rise and fall of the Roman Empire, folks?
Exactly.
Did you see the level of depravity and the lack of integrity and dishonesty in that empire at the end?
Persia,
every empire in the history of the world.
And even cities, not even empires. Sodom and Gomorrah. Any of them that became self-serving and immoral have fallen.
Yep.
Gone.
I don't know if it's too late, folks. I don't know that. I just know that I had to get this off my chest tonight. I had to say the things that I'm saying. I don't know if it's too late. But I do know one thing that is absolutely unequivocally true. Every time that we watch them plan and take our freedom, we are one step closer to the end of all freedom. Don't delude yourself. I don't care how empathetic and understanding everything else you are. Don't delude yourself. Throughout the entire length of recorded history and beyond, man always migrates towards tyranny. Gathering of more power. Those people we put in Washington and in the state capitals and everything, they always want more power, more money, more control. They never. Why do you think the King of England was flabbergasted that George Washington stepped down after two terms? Basically said that no man ever does that. No one willingly surrenders power. George Washington did, but they want to tell us how evil he was. Every time we stand aside and let them take our property through seizures, theft, and the intervention of foreign powers, we are one step closer to having no more property rights to defend. Do yourself a favor, do some research. Look up civil asset forfeiture. See how long it takes for your blood to boil when you start reading the articles about that. Cops, anywhere in the country, any police department, and the Department of Justice encourages it. The FBI and that encourages it. They can pull you over, and they can pull you over, and if you have money, cash with you, they can take that money, not charge you with the crime, because they can suspect that money's being used for drug trafficking or some other illicit purpose. Take your money, and you have to fight them to try to get it back. And in many cases, you don't have the money to fight them. There are so many instances of it, I can't possibly give it all to you. Check it. Look at it.
And the sad thing is with that, I mean, now, don't get me wrong. Once again, we still support our police and everything like that. but you're seeing more and more corrupt cops, man. You're seeing more and more of them abusing and forgetting one thing. Even though you're a police officer, looking on 90% of the of what it says on their vehicles and everything else to protect and
serve and protect.
Serve.
Protect and serve. Yep.
Serve. And as a society, we've brushed aside the whole servant aspect, thinking that it's a bad thing when it's not.
And that's on all of us.
That's on all of us. No, that's why I'm saying this, because the whole time you've been saying we. Once again, it is we.
Yep.
We, as a civilization, have forgot how to serve our fellow man. We have forgot when we're in a position where we have a higher responsibility. We're there to serve and protect, not bend it, utilize it for your own purpose and to bully people. We got to stop that crap, man.
Yep.
And it's another we thing.
Absolutely. Look, don't delude yourself. The politicians in Washington, the politicians in the state, the politicians around the world, they will sell you out to the globalists. They will sell you out to these radical environmentalists. They will do it to get one extra day of something they want. They don't value you any more than they value the bugs they want you to eat. They don't care. They will test viruses on you. They will test vaccines on you. They do not care. And the whole point of this tonight is for me to get everybody to wake up and understand. I'm not asking, this isn't a call to revolution. This isn't a call. Folks, do your freaking job. Take the responsibility that we were all supposed to take as members of this experiment, as part of this republic. Don't let them get away with it. Now look, you write me off as a conspiracy theorist. You can call me anything you want, okay? Tinfoil hat, I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. All right? I understand, because I know that what you're hearing come out of my mouth right now sounds like I'm a kook. You're probably listening to me and thinking, oh, dear God, we've got another one that's completely gone over the edge. No.
He's not even big yet.
I love my family. I love my God. I love this republic. Amen. I would die for this republic. I signed up, okay, when I went to the academy and I became a naval reservist and I took my oath. I meant it. I meant every last word of it. Okay?
And even though the military wouldn't accept me, I'm an American. I'd die for my country.
And let's remember what that oath says. That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Bam.
You're an enemy of the Constitution, you and I got a problem. So look, I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions, right? This is the end of things. We're going to wrap it up right here. So if you believe me, don't believe me, agree, disagree, whatever, I want you to ask yourself a few questions here. Here they are. Are you free today in the world we live in to say what you wish, no matter what that is? Are you free to speak the words and thoughts of your conscience without ramifications that can cost you your job, your livelihood, and your future? Now, I understand. When you go to work for an employer, their job, their rules, okay? I get that. But it's gone beyond that. You can say things in your private time outside of work, especially if it's on your social media, okay? And they're retaliating against people even when it's not said in a capacity at work or when you are representing the company. They are now going into your private life and saying, you can't say that. Look at it. Watch the things that happen and tell me that I'm lying. Second thing, are you free to believe what you will and worship or not as you see fit according to the dictates of your conscience? Are you really? If you believe that abortion, sexual impropriety, or perversion are a sin, and you do nothing more than speak that truth, are you free from consequences? Ask yourself. And be honest. Be honest with yourself. Well, you're not being honest with me. Don't talk to me about it. Be honest with yourself. Ask that question and answer it honestly. Look at what's going on around you in the world that you live in. And tell me that you truly think that you're free to believe what you want to believe. You want to be an atheist? Be an atheist. I don't care. Now, are you free to associate and conduct your affairs as you see fit, even if it means telling someone that you won't do business with them? You can disagree with me all you want. And I don't care about all this stuff that you're out there with. Oh, my feelings. I don't care. But ask yourself, if you wanted to run a coffee shop, and if I came in with my red, white, and blue hat on and made a comment about something, and you said, look, I'm not serving you coffee. Do you have that right? Guess what? I believe you do. You don't want to do business with me? That's fine. I'll go do business somewhere else. Starbucks just said, if you believe in traditional beverage, don't buy our coffee. Challenge accepted. Screw you. Won't be back.
Actually, I haven't bought their coffee in years.
I haven't either, but I won't do business with you anymore. I just still have a card with points on it, right? And actually, in fairness and honesty, almost every time that I travel and go through an airport, I end up buying a cup of Starbucks somewhere, right?
We don't have to.
Not anymore.
No.
That's fine. Hey, look, see, that's freedom of association. You tell me not to buy your coffee, I say, okay,
cool,
no problem. Won't buy your coffee.
Challenge extended. Challenge accepted.
There you go.
All right.
So, look, that's the end of my rant. That's all I had to say. But I want you to think about those 3 questions. I want you to think about that. Take that forward into this coming week. You tell me what you think. All right? Feel free to respond to us. Send it to admin@garagepolitics.com. Or, excuse me, admin@garagepolitics.net. Didn't change the email yet. admin@garagepolitics.net. Send me the email. Tell me what you think. Tell me. Go for it.
And with that,
tell me I'm an idiot if you want.
Cool. Well, we told them they could be negative if they want.
Yeah.
With that noise, that's our shout-out time. As always, we're going to give a shout-out to our military, those that are protecting this country and fighting for its freedom, dying for it. God bless you and your families. God bless our first responders. Whether you're a paramedic, whether you're a firefighter, whether you're a police officer out there putting your life on the line and you're not corrupt, you're out there doing the right thing, God bless you. God bless your family.
Amen.
Thank those families for allowing to do it. But our big shout out this week comes from Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Cool.
Okay.
What'd you get?
The lady actually works for Starbucks. Her name is Carrie.
All right.
Carrie feels she has 40 seconds with each customer as they come through the drive-through window.
Yes.
She prays with them.
Does she really?
Come through.
As soon as that gets to corporate, she won't have a job.
And the neat thing is she was honored by the local news channel, Channel 8 out there.
Yeah.
For great acts of kindness. She has an impact on all of those people. She had an impact on, I guess, a couple not too long ago, right around Christmas time, coming through the drive-through. The husband was sick. He's suffering from cancer and stuff, and Carrie took the time to pray for him and everything. Later on, from what I understand, I think I understand it right, was it the husband passed away? But the lady basically said that the one lady that came back said it meant the world to have him sit there and pray.
That's awesome, dude.
So.
See, little ways you can make a difference. You can make a difference. Okay. So we have a small emergency. We'll get things wrapped up here in a minute. But so gotta go. We're gonna shut it down quick, and we're out of here. God bless. See you next time.
Next week on the Garage.
You fall.